Ask the bees, ask the breeze, and ask the trees. They will tell you who's unjust, the man to man you can never trust. Let's see where did we leave things with welcome to the world of Calabris. Hey everybody, Matt Colville here. It is 11 o'clock. It is Sunday, and that is when we create worlds. Because we can, because that's part of the fun of being a DM. I often tell people, you don't need to do any of this. You could just start with a town and a nearby mine that's infested with kobolds, but it's fun to build worlds. It always surprises me when we play D&D. I've now run D&D at a couple different video game companies for probably 24 people, and none of them who weren't already habitual D&D players, none of them, when we're done, go and start building their own world. And that, to me, signals a huge cultural shift between gamers in the 70s and 80s and gamers now. And people haven't changed, so my only conclusion is that our sociology has changed. People go home from playing D&D and they play Minecraft, right? Or League of Legends, or Overwatch, or Rocket League. They've got stuff to do, and we didn't when I was young. So to me, a big part of the fun of being a DM is building a world. But these days, I don't think we do a lot of that. So let's build a world together. This way, we can get hundreds, we'll see, hundreds of people in Twitch together. Let me fire up Twitch chat. Also, I'm running a straw poll, which is going to run throughout the whole thing, and I'll probably add it to the YouTube video, because I can add polls to the YouTube video, and it's stream vote. It's bang, stream vote. And that, we're just trying to figure out what the best use of my time is. Actually, don't think about that. Somebody on Twitter was like, oh, I prefer this because it's less work for you. Let me worry about how much work it is. Which do you prefer watching? Do you prefer watching me run D&D, either live or on YouTube? Or do you prefer the half-hour narrative recaps, the campaign diaries that we used to do? That's going to have a big impact on whether we keep playing. 0086B says, you're having a kind of a rough day and needs some happy thoughts. I will have happy thoughts for you. 0086B. What is that in hexadecimal? Matt wonders. Go watch The Mighty Boosh. Go watch the episode of The Mighty Boosh, The Priest and the Beast, because it doesn't matter how down. Or go watch QI. Go watch an episode of QI. Watch some smart people having fun. That stuff always cheers me up. Go listen to some reggae. Reggae always cheers me up, right? Nobody can be depressed watching. I mean, I guess it's possible. Let's see. Where is the Twitch chat? Twitch. What is your chat? There's 100 people watching, so that's not a many. Let's see. But it's better than the quality. The quantity is low, but quality counts for something. So those of you who are joining us today, welcome aboard. Today's subject is we're gonna take the map of Calabris. I've dropped a bunch of towns in. That's something you can't do watching. You can't drop towns in. So I've dropped a bunch of towns in, and we're gonna name them, and we're gonna talk about. We're just gonna name a bunch of towns and talk about what classic, popular D&D adventures can be found in this world, and kind of how to integrate them, or basically like what town to start in if you want to play this adventure versus that adventure. And then we'll talk about the gods of Calabris if we have time. Mostly, I think, the human gods, but who knows. And kind of maybe the creation mythos a little bit. And then we'll be done. And maybe it'll all be done today. Maybe this will be the last time we hang out together and create a world. I don't think so. I think there may be more. This is only one region. These are just the spine lands of Calabris. The Titan's Gate leads to all sorts of other places, and so we need to know where those places are. Let's see. Pop out chat. Pop out chat. Let's see. Where is my OBS so we can get everything properly aligned? I'm not really worried about how many viewers there are. I would be happy if there were only 20 viewers, but it's I measure success in a couple of metrics. One is growth, and the other is engagement. Absolute value of viewers is not interesting to me. So people say, wow, you have more viewers than this, or you have more viewers than that. I'm like, yeah, okay, that doesn't mean anything to me. But whether we're growing or shrinking is important to me, and how engaged people are. Let's see. Have I missed anything in the chat? It's a type of green. It's color green. Hey, Titan 2142. I think we're going to talk about Titans today, about the founding entities. Rom, the Space Knight. Welcome to the brainstorming party. That is what this is. That is definitely what this is. Do 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 do. What's Twitch chat's proper alignment? Oh, just lawful neutral. Just getting making sure that what you see is well laid out. That's all. Axebane used to stream and got 1,800 people. We've never gotten, the best I've ever gotten in a stream was we got 800 people the very first time I ever streamed. And I think that was mostly because people didn't know what my stream was going to be like. They'd see my videos. A lot of people had seen the videos and they're like, ooh, what's the stream going to be like? And then they would watch and they'd be like, oh, is that it? Yep, this is it. This is it. Matt Colville talks a lot and then types a lot and stares at Twitch chat. That is what we do here. Retro Gamer Rye Guy got his nephews into D&D. Fantastic. Now, the last test is, do your nephews want to run a game? Where would you suggest starting an evil campaign? It's too vague a question. I apologize. Hello from Germany. Guten Abend. I don't even know what that means. It means good something. Good day? No. Guten Tag is day. Guten Abend might be morning. I streamed D&D and for 80% of the broadcast, my audio was off. That's what music today. Good luck, Halt Claire, if you can decipher what the song was I was singing in the beginning of the stream. If so, so Clockwork, you've asked this before, and I don't think I've understood the question. I often kind of shine people on, not because I don't think it's a good question, but often because it's like I literally don't understand the question. Put a large city across the channel west of the Bantour Steppe. Do you mean over here? Like, we don't really have, okay, let's put a symbol in here. Let's put icons. Do we have, I don't really like these, like, notice that there is town and village, but there's no large town, there's no small city, there's castle, tower, fort. So we have town and village, and then castle, tower, fort. So I guess we'll put a castle. Do you mean over here? Here, also, let's fill bottom of hex so it looks snazzy. Is that what you're talking about, Clockwork? Okay. I don't know who lives there or what goes on there. It's kind of we've left that place open on purpose so other people can put stuff in there. How do I pull players from Pathfinder to 5e? You say, I'm running 5e. Say something in French. Bonjour. Comment allez-vous? Je m'appelle Mathieu. I took a year, 2 years of French. Got an A. Quite liked it. Had to take something. Is slow mode on? I don't think so. We may have to turn it back on. I had it on when there were 800 people in chat. That's where slow mode came from. Let's see. Matt, do you listen to the Beatles as often as possible? Do you have any insight into open table play? I don't know what that is. Guten Abend. Good evening. Oh, is it evening in Germany? Maybe I got it right by accident. It's possible. You never know. I've got a lot of things right by accident. about half the things I get right. Throw in some Rush. Well, if you insist. That's what this big Nexus device is for. Let's see. What do we have? Red lenses. Patera Silk said, you said that starting with a random map isn't how you normally create a setting for D&D. What's your normal process like? Normally I just go buy a setting and read it. I bought Birthright. I loved Birthright. I ran Forgotten Realms for a while. Didn't really like it. Too high magic for my tastes. Loved Birthright. Really like Ptolus, the city by the spire, which is ironic because it's an urban thing, and so in that context, I like Waterdeep. That's the part of Forgotten Realms I like. Once you get out into the farmlands and you go into a random town in the middle of nowhere, and the barkeep is a 22nd level bard, I'm like, all right, this is silly. But I like Waterdeep. I really like Ptolus. That's a great setting. Otherwise, I would just do a local area. I would do a map with, here's all the places you can get to in a day or two. right? So that would be the equivalent of like one of the like Cardus, the capital city, and two or three hexes around it. And I would put, you know, a river, a road, a river, a road. I would put a cave, a mine, a ruin something, an obelisk, something mysterious, and a town, maybe a couple towns. And that was it. That'd be it. You know, like kind of what they did with Red Hand of Doom, where they had this area, the Elsir Vale, right? And then they did it again in 4th edition. They were like the Nentir Vale. It's just a local area, and then you can drop that into any campaign setting or use that and build out. That's really all you need to get started. So that's how I normally do it. The Horizon National. Oh, it's true. Fornalo is going to be playing D&D today. I am here with you instead of playing D&D with my best friends who are currently playing my friend Jim's game, and I'm not. Hopefully this is the last collaborative stream so I can go back and I can start doing stuff like play D&D again. Let's see. As an older person, that's me, can you recommend how to get started in D&D? I have difficulty finding games with people my age in the UK. Play with people who aren't your age. There's another column of icons. Oh yeah, there is. You're right. What's this? There's a city. You're right. I don't know why. I thought it would realign. I think the benefit of the recap is, you know what? It doesn't matter to me what whatever your preference is. Vote. Let's put the thing up again. You can have whatever idiosyncratic response is right for you, but which would you rather watch? Would you rather watch my friends and I running D&D, either live or on YouTube, or would you rather the half-hour condensed Matt tells you what happened last night thing? How do I feel about saxophone? How do you feel about a saxophone playing bard? I feel ambivalent. I don't. Unfortunately, I don't know any Swedish. Although my friend Lars tried to get me to learn. What do they speak in Iceland? Icelandic. It's gonna get warm in here, so I don't know how much. Oh, let me go on Twitch. Let me change the title of the stream. Yeah, good idea. Let's see. The live stream seems to be winning. Tweech. Do. Bow. And I see red. How do I edit? How do I edit the name of the stream? The overhead, the under. How did last week's? How do I? That's okay. I'm not at all annoyed. Edit. There we go. The edit button was missing. There we go. Let's build a D&D world together. Somebody on YouTube said you can't call it Let's Play. That's copyrighted. And I was like, copyright? You can't copyright a title. I think you mean maybe trademarked? But I didn't explain the difference because I felt like, why empower somebody who's just being contrary? In Germany, it is evening. Got it right. By open table, I mean like allowing anyone to come in during the session so the party isn't static. Oh, I would just... no, I don't know. What's the downside? That's how it was played for many years. Oh, I don't know what happened to... Yeah, it's a good question. Let's go to text. Select text. Done. What are you skipping playing? Are you stupid? There we go. I mean, I'm just scrolling down. I know we haven't actually started doing anything yet. It's already 11:15. Once your players defeat the Invincible Overlord, will you put your adventure on the DM's Guild? I have no idea. I think the Invincible Overlord will defeat them. He is invincible. It's in his name. So, Do you think someone who has never played D&D can be a good DM? Yes, indeed, it is the only way any DM has ever become good. Do the condensed videos mean we get more talking head videos? Neither means anything. Which would you rather watch? Don't try to game the system, because all that's going to do is result in you not getting what you want. Which would you rather watch? Would you rather watch the... That's not what this is about, by the way. This is about building a world. I'm just scrolling down to see if I missed anything important. I voted for the live stream because I assumed that doing 30-minute recaps would reduce the number of running the games you make. I mean... I can't stop people from trying to read into my question and extrapolate into my motivations. Which would you rather watch? Which is more entertaining to you? Is it more entertaining and more interesting to watch 4 hours of me running D&D, either live or on YouTube? Or do you prefer watching the... There's no... You do realize you're asking the stream audience if they like the stream. Not this stream, but... I'm talking about the live stream. But yeah, I also asked Twitter, and I'm also going to do it on YouTube. So don't be surprised that I'm trying to cover all my bases. Let's see. I'm just trying to get caught up. People are already naming towns, and I haven't asked for a town yet. And just, I should probably set up a thing for this in Moobot. Let's see. Let's have a new command in Moobot, command list, and it's going to be called Silly. Silly, create deliberately silly answers. Earn a timeout. Have to keep. Still not a message. Okay, so now when you see somebody give a goofy, obviously silly answer, you can type !silly, and that way they will have no excuse when I time them out. What is the size of this map? I bet somebody else can answer that. Vander Pike, welcome aboard. Which is more true, the Invincible Overlord? That is a great question, Slate. Which is more true, the Invincible Overlord is invincible or the Dragon Knights are incorruptible? Well, the Invincible Overlord beat the Dragon Knights, so I would say it's more true that he's invincible. There, look at that. Somebody asked, what's the scale of the map? And Owlbear Sage answered. Yay, Owlbear Sage is my friend. I have no idea how you're going to make the call on the poll. Well, if it's split down the middle, then it's split down the middle. But I think, between the Twitch vote, the Twitter vote, and the YouTube vote, we'll see what all happens. How soon do you think it's optimal to introduce the main villain to the party? You can do it whenever you want. I do it at first level sometimes. God, I'm trying to get... Scrolling. Okay, let's see. Where is the document? Here is the document that we use, that we write in. And we need some names. Let's zoom in. Hex width. Down. Let's see. Let's start with Ardenia. We have a town and two, what are these? I forget. Symbols. Icons. Symbols and icons. Are those not synonymous? We have villages and a town. And then we have the capital of Ardenia, which I don't know what is called. But you are all going to tell me right now what is the capital of Ardenia. And hang on, I'm getting an email. Will there be a video for players like you said? Yeah, in fact, I was going to work on it this weekend, but I just had way too much stuff to do. And so that's, something has to be. Behebajer, I want to pronounce the J like it's Spanish. Hey Matt, after we finish Collaborus, is there a chance we might get a live stream of building a dungeon together? Or building an adventure together that exceeds the scope of your running the game videos? I don't think so, and I'll tell you why. Because I think that there are already lots of adventures and lots of dungeons out there And while it is fun to make your own, I think that it's a lot easier just to go buy one. And to a certain extent, it's easier to go buy a campaign setting. But I wanted to, you know, I wanted to encourage people watching to think, oh, it's fun to build a world and go do it. That's kind of at the opening of the stream today. I talked about how people don't do that anymore. And it's one of the fun parts of being a DM. Whereas I think of building a dungeon and building an adventure as work. I think it's just, there's so many adventures already done that you could run D&D every day for 4 hours for the rest of your life and never get through all of them. So, will you put roads on the map? Yeah, I'll do that. There'll be a lot of stuff I'll do afterwards. Ardennes for Ardennes. Ardennes a good name. Ardennes a good name for a place called Ardenia. There are a lot of good names in here. I'll just grab a couple. Mercia. Let's see. All right, so let's. Unfortunately, people have thrown in like a million names. So let me. By the way, I forgot to go onto Twitch and say we're streaming. We're live. Ice-T. That's Twitch. Not Twitch. Twitter. Oh, recursive. Whoa, 30 notifications. Something has happened. www. Wait. We're live. www.twitch.tv. I've typed this so many times. .tv/this asshole. Aren't you people burned out of me yet? I am. God. Maybe that's the reason I've been doing so much streaming lately. Is I got really sick of looking at this while I was editing my videos. I'm like, God, this guy, enough. And I don't have to do that with the stream. And we're live. TwitchTV.met. Yep, that looks right. So let's close. I'm not going to go look at the more people like the live stream currently. Let's make sure the thing is working. Stream vote. I think Ardennes for the capital city. And I'll come back and grab some other answers for the other towns. The high city. I'm not a fan of using the word capital city. I think that's a modern formulation. The high city of Ardenia and the seat of the crown. And then we have a couple of towns. Let me grab some. There are a lot of names, a lot of great names. I like Rendor, Whitshire, White Whitshire. I like that. Ardenhold. Actually, I like Ardenhold too. Havenmore. I like Havenmore. That local towns. In fact, should I put him in the map? Maybe I should. Custom text. Styled. Custom text. Start new text. This is not going to work. Arden. Boop. Oh my god. Is that the first time something's Arden? Oh, it makes me so mad. Ah. You gotta be careful in Hexographer because if the mouse leaves the text box while you're dragging it around, and it will, because you can move your mouse faster than Java can move the object, then all of a sudden it stops working. So there's Arden, and then what's this place up here in the upper right called? Let me grab a name. I liked Castor. Castor and Pollux blow me to Bermuda. I like that. I like Castor and Havenmore. Oops, no. Delete. Castor. It's a real thing in the real world, but it's also sounds pretty generic to me. Oh my god, it worked. And now let's turn the text size down so it's not so big. Let's see, 25. Let's make it smaller than Arden. In the forest, there is trouble with the trees, for the maples want more sunlight and the oaks ignore their pleas. Castor, there we go. And what was another one I liked? I liked Havenmore. Havenmore sounds good to me. Ah! I just added another Castor. There's Castors everywhere. Havenmore. I mean, a moor is a swamp. So let's put Havenmore. I'm sorry. This is all. I mean, There we go. Let's put Havenmore over here by the swamp. Uh, the oaks can't help their feelings if they like the way they're made. And they wonder why the maples can't be happy in their shade. A lot of these names don't sound like human names, unfortunately. Drail, Goragar, Borga. They don't sound like the names of local, like it has to sound like the same kind of thing as Arden. There's way more. Hang on a minute. Roach Rider, we are just naming a bunch of towns and cities, and we're gonna do some god stuff too. What's the difference between the round top settlements and the two house settlements? Well, let's see what this has to say. The two house settlements are villages, and the other ones are towns. Somebody already answered the question. Can you put a white box under the text? A white box under the text? You know what I mean around? You know what I mean around the text? I could do lots of stuff. Shoot, I'm late. What did I miss? Well, we're basically done. No, I'm kidding. You should ask on a short video on YouTube if people prefer the live stream or the videos, because you might miss some people when you ask it in a stream uploaded to YouTube. I wonder if the people on Twitter are like, oh my god, you better bring it up in the stream and on YouTube, otherwise people who are only on... I'm just looking at names. So we need two more names for the places here in... Oak Shadow? I like Oak Shadow. Oak Shadow is not a bad name. Do we have here, let's call this Oak Shadow. Oak Shadows has a nice kind of fantasy kind of, classic Oak Shadow. Is it Oak Shadow or Oak's Shadow? Not a lot of names in the real world of place names have apostrophe S in them. There's only like 3 in all the United States, even though I know it doesn't seem that way. Let's just call it Oak Shadow for now. I may go through and tweak these names later, just to bring them all in line with each other. Boop. Did that work? Boop. Start. I didn't click start in a text. That's why. Boop. There we go. Oak Shadow. That sounds like that's a cool name for a town. I want to start an adventure in Oak Shadow. Excuse me. I have to. Borg is a Swedish name. It's a great example of why I don't think it belongs here, because these names don't seem Swedish to me. Brexitania. Siege Face, Nilpois. What happened to good old fashioned circles, squares, and triangles? I'm not opposed to those. I had a square for Titan's Gate. White text with black outlines. Oh, don't worry about. I know that this is the temporary. Hey everybody, how you doing? This is the temporary map. I will later in Photoshop make a nice version of the map with curved text for some of the roads and rivers and stuff like that. Let's see. I like Falworth actually. Falworth sounds good. Yay! I'm so happy when this just does what I want to do. Oh, what happened to Oakbridge? Come back here. Falworth is like a virus. It's expanding. Select text. Come here, you. Delete. Why would the delete key delete? I know, it's crazy. What was that? That was Oak Shadow. Just survive. Oak Shadow. It's a great song. I'm being followed by an oak shadow. Oak shadow, oak shadow. Start new text. Oak Shadow. There we go. Boot. So we got a couple towns here in Arden, Castor, and Pollux, Blooming, Bermuda, Falworth. I like this stuff. There might be a river called the Fall, and maybe Worth is old. Okay. Can you move the chat up so it stays visible? The people watching later on YouTube, the chat so it is visible, is it not? Can you not? People got a lot of requests. Basberg. Lachim the Learned. I like that. Sorry, this is. Is that a Blue Yeti microphone? Negative. Negative Nightshade. No. You're just gonna have to trust. I know it's difficult given my gross incompetence, and now that you've seen me run D&D, you know that I'm basically a moron. But you're gonna have to trust that I know how my Heil PR40 works. It actually has a little icon on it that says "talk into the end of it." So hang on a minute. People are throwing names out. When you click on Hexographer, it overlaps. Yes, it does. You are correct, sir. You are. I apologize for doubting you. Oh, now I need a map to be smaller. Boop. It can be a little bit bigger than that, though, can't it? What was wrong with the way it was before? Okay, so Haldrim. What's the capital city of Haldrim? I just got a message from Trogath. Posting a vote on Twitch is going to... So let's all read the message. Posting a vote on Twitch is going to bias votes to live videos, and a vote posted on YouTube will bias to recaps. And since there are generally more viewers on YouTube, the result will be predicted to end up being recap videos, which would be sad if you stop the live videos. Might not be able to watch the videos. Might not always have time to watch the stream. Always be able to make time to watch them later. Okay, well... I apologize for not doing everything the way people would like. But unfortunately, this is my stream, and we're gonna have to. You're gonna have to put up with me doing it my way. I encourage you in your stream to do it the way you guys want. Let's see. Adornum is a good name. So Haldrim. Can't please everyone, Matt. I'm starting to think I can't please anybody. My mic, the vote, how's the lighting, how's the sound, how's the hair? Is there anything else you would like me to alter or change? Halder? People seem to like Halder. Let's imagine if Arden is a city. Let's imagine. Yes, I've watched you DM, and it's like watching myself DM. Good. That's what I hoped. I'm now completely distracted by the number of insights I'm getting into all the different ways I'm doing things. I feel like I don't necessarily want to say that Ardenia being named after Arden is a rule, that they're all called that. But I think that I like the idea that Haldrim has a name for a keep in it or something. Like I agree with Slate B. Gray's Keep. Somebody said Gray's Keep before. I like Gray's Keep for Haldrim. I'm just going to use it right now. Do 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 do. I don't know who Gray was, but I clicked Start New Text, but then I did not. Yay! I'm always, every time I click on the world and the text box works, I go, yay! Because I'm just used to being like click, 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 click. Trogath is worried that he'll see me less if I do only recaps. Well, okay. I'm usually people are happy seeing less of me. Uh, so let's see. We've got a couple of towns and villages. We have Havenmore, which is near the moor, so that makes sense. Yeah. Um, Wolvercote. I think that's a real place. I mean, that's Riverhold. I like Riverhold. Riverhold. Let's go for Riverhold. Are these terrible names? I don't think so. Darn it. I clicked select text when I mean to click. Riverhold needs to be tinier. I made two Riverholds. Ah, Hootman. Riverhold. And what was that place called? It's called Grays. So let's select text, select Riverhold. Actually, can I select text that? And can I not just change that to Grays Keep? So we can imagine that there's somebody in the ancestry of the kings of Haldrum was named Gray. And there we go. Look, it changed. Yay. Sorry for repeating this, Raisin Girl. Is it possible to do a brief note peek before each area so that the names match the feel of the stuff here? Oh, well, I mean, the notes just are the name. All we have in the notes are the names of Haldrum, Ardenia. We don't know anything else. And the notes don't have any other information as far as place names. That's kind of what we're determining. So we have two more places, Riverhold, Havenmore. Let's come up with names that aren't noun verbs or, adjective noun. Luthon 1234. Yes, you missed the stream. Sorry, it's over. It's all. We're not doing this anymore. Well, we're looking for names for these towns that just seem like plausible names for human towns in an area with names like Cardis, Ardenia, and Haldrum, right? Uh, People have typed a lot of names in here, and stand by. Stolver. I actually like Stolver. Start new text. Sounds like a good name for a town. Stolver. Yay, it worked. Tiny. Let's make it tiny, tinier, even tinier. And of course, somebody's going to complain that some of the towns have their names above them and some of the towns have the names below them. But then I think we've gotten to the point now where someone else in chat will say, dude, he's going to clean it all up in Photoshop later. Don't worry about it. I actually like the idea that the ruler of Haldrum is known as the Grey, but I don't know if I'm going to make that canonical. Peloton. It's a great name. Tranche actually does. I actually kind of like that name. Not all town names are attractive. So I'm actually gonna go for Shadow Duck's suggestion. It may be like an ugly looking name, but it has to me a ring of a plausible sounding ugly looking name. So it's the thing that bugs me, I think, is that when you place new text in Hexographer, it doesn't deselect start new text. So so it's not clear. Like, I have just started a new text. Should I not then have to click again? Okay, so I need another name. We got another town over here. Orton. You know what? Iguanatron. I like Orton. But it sounds like it's Ortown. So let's make it nearer the mines. Orton. Boop. Signals get crossed. And the balance distorted. See if we missed anything. Your Trograph. Your rivers don't make any sense. Uh, I look forward to your rivers. We're not going to put a town. Oh, you know what? We do need. We do need a town in respect for our ancestors. My friend Jim's favorite character is Sir Liam of Keys, so we need a town called Keys that he can be from. I'm going to put it here in Cardis. So I apologize. There's no Colville, but there is a Keys. Pause. We rhyme. We play. I can't hear myself, so my singing is way off. I wanted to link to the PDF. I think it's just Bang Collabs. That should work. Do we still have 2 Ortons? No. We have a couple more towns we got. This is actually, we're making good time. Oh, okay, there we go. Oh, I just did it again. Why is it doing that? What was the name of that? It was Keys. Keys. And then, I guess, start new text, and then, oh, wait, no, select text, select Orton, change it to Tranche. Tranche! Okay. There we go. Man. Yeah, this is a mess. Riverhold, Havenmore, Tranche, Stover, Falworth, Oakshadow. These are good names, I think, actually. So this is the combination of you folks inventing stuff and then me curating it. If you click Save New Text. Oh, I see. There's a whole button here I never use. That's maybe the problem. Select, what was that called? That was called Orton. And did we lose Orton? Yeah, so that's, I've selected it. And now if I just type Orton, yes, we'll see, and then save. Boom. Okay. Okay, I think we fixed that up. No, Orton's back, and Keys is back, and there's Tranche and Stover and Havenmore. Again, I like saying these names. They sound like good names to me. Fargley. No, I'm not going to name a town Fugly. So we got a couple more towns I want to name. I feel like I could just scroll up and find good names. I like Waldron. I like Waldron. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. It's not an exciting name, but... okay, click Start New Text, and then I click Type. Oh, there we go. Click once, didn't work. Click twice, worked great. So let's see, what else do we need? We got Havenmore. We got one, two, three, 4 more towns. And then we're going to name some stuff over down in the Deadlands. Oh, there will be a Colville in my Calabris, a city of bugbear writers. Somewhat stereotyping, but okay. That's me. I like I should make a fortress rules command. Probably. This is probably the last stream. You could tell either I'm getting punchy or the chat is getting punchy because a bunch of people were like, "Oh, your rivers suck. What's wrong with your mic? Oh, why are you putting poles everywhere?" It's like, "Oh, good Lord, God, how quickly they turn." Cregan. Ooh, I like Cregan. That's a good name. I like that. Yeah, let's have that. Let's have some of that. Start new text. Did I screw anything up? Did anything just evaporate? Cregan. Cregan. Let's put it up here. Yeah. Cregan, Keys. Bridle. I like Bridle. Yeah, you guys are doing a good job here. So it's that text and then start. There we go. Bridle. And I don't think it has to be anything to do with horse bridles or bridal showers would be a different bridle. I think it can just be called bridle. And the fact that there's 2 words that sound the same or spelled the same mean or represent 2 different things is fine. Bridle. Start new text. I click start new text. I type bridle. And now I'd like to click in the... now I made 2 of them. Bridle, come here, tiny little town. Now, my uncle preserved for me an old machine. Here, let's zoom in. Make my life a little bit easier. His dearest dream. I strip away the old... Okay, select text. We're going to spend most of this chat just watching me move things around here. Okay. Newford. I mean, that's... Pelham. I like Pelham as a name, too. Good afternoon, says Q4 Quersme. I can't. Sorry with the numbers. I apologize. I did my best. I'm doing my best. But I liked Pelham. Pelham. Can I just Control Z? No, why would Control Z work? What was the name of that town before it was Pelham? Well, look here. Let's put Pelham where it belongs. Come here, Pelham. Bridle. It was Bridle. I remember. I got there. Don't. With the other. Start new text. Bridle. The scent of country air. Sunlight on chrome. The blur of the landscape. Every nerve aware. Let's see. People are the Axebane. I don't think people are trolling. I think they think they're helping by saying, hey, you did this wrong and you're doing that wrong. And sometimes I need to know these things. It's like the difference between my friend TJ and some of the other people I played games with. Is some of the other people I play D&D with can't tell the difference between the stuff that they should speak up about and the stuff that's fine. But TJ can tell, and that's one of the reasons I love having him at the table. Is he can tell, like, Matt needs to know this. And also, Matt doesn't need to know that. To be fair, half the things you mentioned just came from one guy. I'm not keeping track of how many people who has been contributing what. So if there's one person that's been suggesting all the names I like, I apologize. That's not me showing favoritism. It's probably just that person... I got there. Have a good day at the beach. A great day. Oh, God. Hey, he chose one of my names. Woo. Oh, God. He almost broke another name in the process. Yay. Oh, God. Yeah, Axebane, that's the problem. Is it's not... No, I don't think there are any trolls. I have experienced almost no trolls. I think I've banned 2 people from the YouTube channel total. I don't think I have trolls. I just think we have people that want to help, and they don't know me, right? And they don't know the difference between, Matt needs to know that, and no, don't worry about it, Matt's got it, it's fine. But we'll all get there. If I were really impatient. You meant half the negative comments came from one guy. Oh, thank God, Tensam. I was worried there. Hey, look at that. We're caught up. So we've got 1 or 2 towns left. Actually, they're all the ones here are filled out. So let's see. We have Keys, we have Bridle, we have Orton, we have Cregan. Oh, good names. Waldron, Pelham, Traunch, Stolver. You can imagine somebody listing the names of places they've been or places you have to go. You have to, once you leave Gray's Keep, you go east to Stolver and then north to Falworth, and then you'll get to Arden. That sounds like, it's real. Throm. Okay, you know what? Throm. You know what? Say Throm. Fine. Let's put Throm down here. I don't know what this place is. It's okay for that. There should be stuff that this is the Tolkien lesson, right? There should be stuff that even the author doesn't know what is. So I don't know what this out in the middle of nowhere. There's a whole place. There's a capital like Throm. Boom. What is Throm? Throm is God. Throm is our God. Throm chooses. There we go. So, because I think I saw Throm come up a couple of times. What is the name of the ruins of this? In fact, does it say that in Tal or Narfel in the thing? Tal and RFL. Oh, it's Velarden. The High Elf cap. Wait. The Drow sacked the High Elf capital of Velarden. So we know the name of that place. Yay! Some of the work we did earlier is still paying off. Yay! Let's make that bigger. It's a capital. Velarden. Throm, I have never prayed to you before. I don't have the tongue for it. See, note peak helps. Well, because I suspected, Raisin Girl, that we had written that down. I'm like, is it possible that I dropped a town in here before this process and didn't know? How's the hair? I'm afraid. And just didn't name it? No. Is it an exclamation point or an exclamation mark? It's a bang. Duh. It helps sell the setting to the players when it sounds good like that. Dweezil Zappa was doing a heavy metal album, and that guy's a genius and can play anything. And so he was having fun with he hired a famous heavy metal singer to come do the vocals, and the guy was singing, and Dweezil punched in on the mic and said, "But I need you to give it a little something extra at the end. Like, don't just say blah 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 fire, say blah 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 fire." And the guy's like, "Oh, you mean you want it to be good? We want it to be good." Are we going to post the updated hexographer file somewhere? Yeah, sure. Oh, I try to always post the hexographer file. So we've got Velarden over there. Let's see. And I worry about you. We've got towns. We've got Spineguard Keep. What's this place called? You've been gone for 5 minutes. What did I miss? We threw it all out, and we're just going to play the Forgotten Realms. Look at this. 008 green. Hex green. Posted the Interrobang, the rarely seen Interrobang. Throm needs boats, Elvis needs boats, Elvis needs boats. I'm not even going to describe what Throm is. I'm just literally going to publish this entire thing. And there's going to be a place over here called Throm, and I want people to open up and go, Throm? What the hell is that? What's going on there? And then they will have to answer that question. And whatever answer they come up with it'll belong to them. It'll be their answer. And it'll be much more interesting and relevant and vital than any nonsense we can come up with. So what am I to do? I actually like Red Knife Trogath as the name of town. I like that a lot. So let's start new text. Red Knife. To what you're going through. But I've seen the tip of the iceberg. Worry about you. I do listen to other bands. In fact, I know I have other. I can't just. A man cannot live by Rush alone. Rush probably isn't even my favorite band. They're just. Probably Genesis is my favorite band. Genesis and or Yes. But don't we have a Tull playlist in here? I apologize. This is not the best, I realize. Kate Bush. Lindstrom. I can't sing along to Lindstrom. That's the problem. Steely Dan. Love Steely Dan. Although if you had told 15-year-old me that 45-year-old me would love Steely Dan, he would have said, kill yourself. Just kill yourself. Let's get some Jethro Tull up in this bitch. Ooh, what is Throm? When did that castle get there? See? Where did that castle come from? Scrolling down. I'm sorry, I'm not always looking at the chat. How many hex per mile are this? 1. Stream quality selector is messed up. Unfortunately, I don't think that is something I can have anything to do with. Nobody's car. Of course it was. Ciard42. I knew that. I think I didn't know that. I don't think the orcs have cities. I think they have tribes, and they have orc-moots, and they get together. So we have Red Knife. Do we have any other? We're almost done with the naming things. This is good, man. This is good stuff. I feel like we got good names for this place. So let me zoom out a little bit. We've zoomed way in. Oh, we don't have names for the places of Zir. Let's name these guys. So we have the capital of Zir. Assignment. Rough Day just got much, much better. Thanks for the positive thoughts. How do you plan on filling these various villages and small towns with content? I do not. I often feel like people ask questions and it's like, if you just thought for a second, you'd be like, oh, I've watched Matt. I know what he's going to say. You don't need to invent the town of Cregan. Go by Against the Cult of the Reptile God. It comes with the town of Orlane. You don't need to invent the town of Tranche. You just say that's where Hamlet is and go by T1, the village of Hamlet. All the great adventures, Night Below, all these great adventures all have towns that you start in and just pick the one that makes sense, and the work's already been done for you. And if you're going to spend an hour creating, spend an hour taking that existing stuff and making it yours, and that makes it better, I think. One mile per hex? No, 1 hex per mile. Obviously. Orkmoot. The Orkmoot. Let's see. Yes, I'm not a Twitch partner, so I don't have any control over the setting. 1 hex per mile. No, it's 1 hex per hex. Xeris. Is it not Xeris? Let's see. The capital of Zir is Zir. All is Zir. Zir is love. I think somebody was correct. Capital city, Xeris. The glass city. The shining star of the sand. Man, doesn't everybody love Zir? Zir is everybody's favorite. I just said it and I have now forgotten it. I should just go Xeris. Zerenia. Start new text. Azaria. Like Hank Azaria? I'm not afraid of that. Nighthold. Garut. Ooh, the Claw Beyond. I like Garut. Because now we don't have to have human-sounding English, names. Garut. I just changed Xeris. I'm slowly getting there. Garut. Garut is not the capital city, therefore it must be small air. I drive nobody's car. I drive nobody's car. Drive nobody's car. Oh, it was going to be an Ian Anderson solo album. CERN. More death. I like Kelrix. I think he was giving a sarcastic answer when he said 1 mile per hex. I was speaking in cubic aardvarks per furlong, the known and recognized unit of distance for Calabras. That's official. It's in the doc. It's science. You can't argue with that. Kelrix and Resma. I like both of those. Oh no! What did I say? I like Kelrix. I might make some notes later about, Kelrix is the place that's closest to Cardus. So if you're coming over the mountains, then it's probably the first place, I might, but that would not be fun to watch. Resma. Boom. Look at that. Ah! Oh, where did you go? Oh, Resma's back. What did I do? Why did it just disappear? Maybe I'm overloaded. Maybe Hexographer's like, dude, you got a lot of names in here. I'm with you, Lamb. Though it's a shame that it had to be you. The mothership is just a blip in our trip made for two. I'm with you, boys, so please employ just a little extra care. It's on my mind. Behind should have. Okay, I think we're done with. We're done singing for Michael Collins' "Jeffrey and Me" by Jethro Tull. Brilliant song. You can tell when it was written because it's talking about the guys that were going to the moon. So we've got some names here. Cardus has no capital name. What is the capital name of Cardus, everybody? Uh, Alizeus, my actual setting has like Tor, like there's the barony of Tor, and so there's a city that doesn't have a name. Doesn't have a name because it's Tor Keep, because it's the keep of the bear. So I don't want to do that here. So that's why Cardus needs a name. Are you serious? I'm so. I'm way behind on the chat, aren't I? Yep, I am. I'm with you, Lamb. It's a shame that it. These are terrible names. Looking for the capital of Cardus. Let's get back up to that area so we can look at what other things near there are named. Blip in our trip made for two. I'm with you, boys, so please employ just a little extra care. Sparrow Rest. I like Sparrow Rest. Hind the Baz. I will get Baz in this map somewhere. What are these kobolds' names? We don't know the kobolds' names. That's Zik and that's Baz. I actually like Sparrow Rest. Is Sparrow Rest from something? Sparrow Rest sounds good to me, dude. Everyone used up their good names. I like Sparrow Rest, actually. What do you guys think of Sparrow? By the way, we're at boom. Hey, Joe Trip. I apologize if you don't like my singing or my choice of music. This is you're the only people that I get to inflict this stuff on. Let me look at, is Sparrow Rest something that people have used before? Not as far as I can tell. Wait. Stand by. Yeah, it is. No, I have no awful monk. I have no plans on doing a cityographer or dungeonographer stream. I think that there are so many resources online already for pre-made dungeons and cities that nothing we would do, I think, would compete. Sparrow's Rest is a small section of a city in a mud most people probably never heard of. Well, okay. Yeah, let's go with Sparrow Rest because I like it. I apologize. Start new text. I think that I think it's evocative and it's somewhat ironic, and I mean ironic classically, meaning poignantly in opposition to what's expected. You expect it to have a more kind of macho military sounding name, and the fact that it's named after a bird and it has a passive verb in it like rest, I think actually makes it more evocative, more intriguing. So I think we are getting video on demand, Laventros. Done it frequently at parties when I've got all the guests' attention. Okay, so we have the Dead Kingdom. And the Dead Kingdom. And suave, gentlemanly bearing. There we go. Unfortunately, the dimensions of the stream do not afford us. Excuse me. How long have we been going for? About an hour. We're almost done. No, we're almost done with this part of the stream, which is just naming stuff. Owlbear Sage, it will be up on YouTube as soon as we're done. We upload it. Usually takes a couple hours to upload because these streams are long. All right. Yeah, I think if people want to make adventures for Calabrus, they absolutely can. Although Calabrus, I have been informed, will not be on the DMs Guild because they do not want people to put their own settings up there, which is fine. I'll put it up on RPG Now or Drive Through RPG, which are the same thing. They're all RPG Now, Drive Through RPG, DMs Guild are all, as far as I can tell, the same actual site. Someone's feeling ignored. I don't know why. Llewellyn. No, thank you. Do people really read the stream? I don't know. Can you read the stream? It's getting really warm in here, unfortunately. Make your chat window a little narrower. Yeah, you're probably right. And then if I go, ooh, but have I not now, then get the hell away. I guess that's fine. Wow, what's going on here with the hair? There's like a thing happening. You know. I like Cairn Harrow. Cairn Harrow is a pretty cool name. Like, obviously that's not the... Cairn Harrow is a real name in a real place. It doesn't really bother me that much. Oh, stream chat? No, they can't read the stream chat. Well, yeah, they can because that's what this window's here for. So if you're watching this on YouTube, I don't think people name their towns like Rome wasn't called Rome because it had a heavy military. So the name of the town doesn't the idea that the name of a town reflects its current semiotics or sociology, I think, is a fallacy. Do people still live in the Dead Kingdom? Well, I wouldn't call it living. I think I may regret starting my game because the places that I created in my game that my players like no longer fit into the world of Calabrus. Well, but it still fits into your game. It's hilarious how much more Matt cares. I'm incredibly vain, which is ironic because I have so little to be vain about. So let's get some work done. I like Green Willow, actually. Hang on a second. Oops. For a town, at least. There we go. So these are all the ruins of towns. This whole place is no longer, like, maybe bugbears live there, maybe orcs live there, but these were once towns in the Southern Sanction, and now it's all undead, this whole area. Blackhaven, if you insist. Doesn't sound like a capital city, though. Let's see. I'm looking for... Rex the Onion, you're joining us at the perfect time. Whenever you get here is the perfect time, Rex. Barrowvale. More messages below. Well, if I have rewritten Sparrow's Rest, we'll fix it later. Tamsin's Ferry. I like that. Save. Boop. There we go. That's a goodly name. Yeah, I think it would be cool. Like, I think a lot of adventurers would like to go to the Dead Kingdom. I like Summerhill. Roach Rider. Roach Rider! I think Summerhill is awesome. It's awesome for a ruined city. I think one word. Summerhill. Actually, maybe we'll kill the H, because I think words change as you pronounce them over time. Summerhill becomes Summerhill. Becomes Silmarillion. It's a good name for a town. No. Oh, it's getting warm in here. I may have to turn on the air conditioning, which means it'll sound like I'm inside a Cessna. Um, I'm sensing some Brexit tensions. Uh, is there a way to control the zoom level other than those two buttons? Well, you can type in a number, but you can't just go whoop whoop whoop. It doesn't work the way you would like it to. So the Dead Kingdom had 3 castles, great cities. I think it had 3 kingdoms. I think it was originally the Southern Sanction, which was, you know. I'm sure there is a ferry there. I mean, there are probably lots of rivers and streams around here. Ratford. In 20 minutes, they're going to enter the Dead Kingdom. I think the reason I keep habitually adjusting my shirt is because none of my shirts fit. I think I'm not a 3X anymore. I think I'm a 2X. So I'm looking for... Ardent... no. No, I'm looking for names. Galdrin. Underleaf. I'm looking for names of the 3 major cities. And they wouldn't be... They would be names... Let's go take a look. They would be names like Red Knife, Orton, Bridle, Keys, Falworth, Cregan, or Sparrow Rest, Arden, Gray's Keep. They would be names that don't sound like they're named after... They weren't named when they were a Dead Kingdom. Tomb of Horrors in Swamp in Dead Kingdom, I don't seem to have gotten a response. Unfortunately, I don't have time to respond to everybody, but I think you could put... I don't advise putting Tomb of Horrors anywhere in this, because I think it's an awful adventure. I'm just looking at names. We may be experiencing name fatigue, but that's good because we're almost done. No, we're not going to have a town named Colville. I saw some stuff that I kind of liked. I kind of like Hollowstone. We have a lot of... I want to get away from Green Willow, Summer Hill, Tamsin's Ferry, Black Haven. We need a couple. In fact, I may have to go and delete one of those and just come up with like a word. That's a new word. That's not 2 existing words smashed together. And isn't something that sounds like a dwarf name or a Swedish name. I like Tyrrell. There we go. Diagnosis Ninja. Great show. I think it kind of went downhill after the 2nd season when the main ninja actor, I don't remember his name, Paul something, quit to go do movies, and his career never took off, and he regretted it. And he always, in interviews, I remember him saying he always wanted to go back to Diagnosis Ninja, but I think the producer's like, haha, fuck you. Excuse me. I amuse myself. So here's Tyrrell. That's a good name for the high city. The high city of Tyrrell. You guys are doing... These are good names. Locks. Actually, Locks isn't a bad name, although it's a real word. Here in the real word. And it means something I should know, but I can't... Yeah, it means salmon. I said Blackhaven. I'm already annoyed by my adjective now. It's a good name, but we can go overboard. Fenton. Jesus Christ, Fenton! Sorry. Walm. Actually, Walm is a good name. Like... I like Walm. It sounds like it's a Shiva X3 PZG KSP. It's not. You know what it's going to be though. It's going to be what we call Blackhaven. Blackhaven's going to be Walm. Sorry, Blackhaven. But you won't be mine, Walm. Salden. I actually like Salden. Borden sounds familiar to me. I like Salden. We're going to go with Salden. Boom, boom, boom. Did I just change? No. Salden needs to be bigger. Salden needs to be 24. Salden. So these are ruined keeps. I like Leven. Ziyard 42. I like Leven. Levan. Tarnock. Tarnock's not bad. Dredge isn't bad either, actually. See, this is good stuff. Random towns in England, apparently. Is Tyran and Salden and Wolm, are those random towns? I looked Wolm up, and it didn't say Wolm, comma, town in England, parentheses, random. Okay, then we're almost done. What scale are you using per hex? I'm using 5 hexes per hex. But that's only counting up, up, down. Left, right, it's blue. All right, enough. If we stop. Sorry. We've got more than enough names. Faucet Munch 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 is silly, and that was a terrible suggestion, nil pois. But actually, if this were purely my world, the town of Faucet, it sounds just as good as anything. Holgast. I actually like Holgast. And the hooded crow. Holgast seems to pop up a lot in various places online, but they all seem to be nonsense places. So let's save text, start new text. What was I just saying? Holgast. Actually, what? No, I like Holgast. Gast could imply, maybe a little foreshadowing there. Holgast. And also notice, this is going to sound silly, but notice that Salden and Tyrrell sound similar, but then Holgast and Wolm sound different from them, but similar to each other, as though maybe a different, subgroup of people settled down south. How about we call a place 24 miles per hex? 24 miles per hex, what's that? Sigurd. I haven't banned anybody, actually. I think people have been pretty good. Also, we don't have what do you call it? We don't have slow mo turned on, so we're doing fine. About 45. Good evening, Angrishim. I hope things are going well over on your hemisphere. People are just throwing out names. What does he keep saying? Nil pois means no points. Sorry. Is the Dead Kingdom a ruined kingdom, or are there literally undead there? Which is more interesting? No, they are literally undead. This is the ruins of the Southern Sanction. And they tried to cut back the forest and build their own kingdom, and they were succeeding. As you can tell, there were towns and cities, and then the Lich enacted the ritual of desecration and obliterated this entire place and turned them all into undead. So you do watch Eurovision? Nope, I do not. Although I do watch Eddie Izzard, and he talks about lots of stuff. So enough with the names. I'm just going to grab one for these. For this, is there only one more town? Life has some problem. No, we've got one, two towns left. Betham. Betham's fine. Start new text. Save text. Start new text. Betham. I'm sure someone's going to tell me why this is a bad idea, but. Oops. There we go. Fellholt. Sounds good to me. Although Fellholt, Wolm, Betham, Larrick, Nordic Dragon, Larrick. Okay. Okay. Actually, how about Lyric? There we go. Let's make it a little bit bigger. Make it a little bit smaller. Let's make it a capital L. Sorry. Let's select it and make it. So we've named all the places. All right, enough names. Enough names! Look at that. We have names of all these places. Awesome. Amazing. Sparrow Rest, Cregan, Arden, Haldrum. This is awesome. This is really fantastic. Incredibly happy with the way this went. Throm! I have no idea what that means. Okay, so next subject. Do you speak many languages? See. I got one. It sucked, but it's mine. That's the story of my life. I need to put the daughter to bed. I'll check it on you later if you're still online. I will not be. There's that new town in the west. No, we called it Throm. Is that what we're talking about? Okay, let's see. All right, so the random dead forest over by Zir drives me crazy. Well, you should Shiva X3 PM exclamation point L comma underscore. We need you should in your what is that random dead forest? What is that place? What happened over here? Over in the Scale Hills. What's going on there? Have we named the Lich's Island? No? No? What would you like to name it? The first stream I could finally make it to is a good one. It's the best one you've made it to so far. Coulomb. So what happened over here in this forest? Somebody said the UNT burned it. I'm not sure that's true. Why would they do that? The ashen remains of a forest fire. I mean, that's 60 miles across. That's a 60 by 60, 65, 70, 70 by 70 area. Place seems a little bit more empty than usual. How many people are watching right now? Probably not that many. Like I said, I think we get fewer. I think the stream shrinks. This is a really weird thing to do, build a world. See, the problem with this is I like the fact that there's a dead forest here. But I just don't think that 260, that's not bad. That's not bad. Titan's blood fell there and nothing grows. I like that. Have we discussed where Phandelver is going? No, and I thought we were going to, but I'm not sure now. I feel like we've done such a good job that maybe in the final document I will say, look, here's a bunch of places you could put stuff, but I don't think that's something we need to do on Twitch. I think that's something I can just do. I can just and the player should be free to go, oh, I'm going to put Red Hand of Doom. I'm going to put Nentir Vale or Elsir Vale here. These streams have been the highlight of my Sundays for the past month. Vanderpike, I don't take this the wrong way, but that really depresses me. I feel like these streams are poor entertainment, but they're fun to do, I guess. I like doing them, otherwise we wouldn't be doing it. But I always feel like, go watch Lawrence of Arabia. Go play D&D. As my friend Jim says. My friend Jim is like, why are these people watching you? Why don't they go play D&D? I'm like, Jim, not everybody can play D&D 24 hours a day. Come on. Don't assume that just because they're here watching this, that they don't also do other cool stuff. I think this is fantastic. I love doing this stuff. So I take back what I said, Vanderpike. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad we're doing this. It's going to be fun. I don't think the Baden Tour have cities. Maybe they have a meeting place, but I don't think they... I kind of just like your voice, man. I like yours too, Kalkaroth. Galgaroth. Manderkoth. I want to play D&D, but I don't have any groups to play with. Go online. There are lots of places to find groups. I am making a D&D map while I'm watching a guy make a D&D map. If I watch you making your map, then I'm watching a dude watching a map making a map. If two witches watch two watches, which witch watches which watch? That's a trick question. Watch watching which. Never mind. I couldn't do it. God, I hope Wes isn't watching. I think I'm going to name it the Dragon's Blight. Start new text. I don't know what dragon. I don't know what dragon, but I think it sounds cool. Let's shrink it down a little bit. Maybe this. I mean, do we have a dragon that lives around here? I don't think we do. So this is it. Maybe a dragon lives here. Maybe a dragon lives nearby. Maybe a dragon died here. You are free, I think, to come up with. Maybe we'll put it in the actual thing. Let's make that text a different color. Color. White. Save. Yay! Yay! That's the. It worked. Yay! I think there might be a dragon nearby. Let's see. Really warm in here. I think you undervalue the content you produce. I do. I do undervalue it. I have to undervalue it because otherwise, if I take this too seriously, my already ridiculous ego explodes. So I have to constantly be saying, what is this silly thing we're doing? So I apologize. So what's the name of this island? And keep in mind, it had a name before there was a lich here. So don't give me names like the Dead Wood, Lich Home. I want something that sounds like what we would call a forested island. Can you put an outline around text and hexographer? Yeah, you can. You can make it. Yeah, there are lots of ways to make. I don't think hexographer. Look, if you were going to pick a solution for putting text in an image, you would not pick hexographer. So all of this text you see is just placeholder text for a better tool. The Twitter vote is 60-40 in favor of 30-minute recaps. I'm not surprised. I think they're more entertaining. They're easier to digest. They're more entertaining. Right? I'm not surprised. Hammond's Isle, Hammond's Krieg Stand, Shima, 7 Hex Isle. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna time out somebody. No, I'm not gonna do it. It's a road. Territories. It's 12:30 and we haven't started on the stuff I want to start on. Would it be easier to make the recaps 15 minutes? I don't know, man. What kind of question is that? I don't know. What easier? What does easy have to do with it? Yeah, this is not what I'm looking for name wise. I guess this is probably why I didn't name the island. Let's see. Actually, I'm gonna just scroll up and try to find a name somebody threw out. People do name things like the Isle. People don't. Isle. Yeah. The Isle of. Yeah, people are starting to say a bunch of silly stuff. So I think we're done with the naming part. Yeah, let's give up. We're going to give up on the naming thing. It's not working out. So let's start talking about part 2 of the stream. I'm going to need to take a break, I think, and turn on the AC and get something to drink because it's really warm in here. But I want to talk about the gods. So this is my current thinking on the issue of the gods here. That there were once these primordial beings called the Titans. And I don't mean Titans like, they're not humanoids, I think, as the way the Greek Titans were. We may have to stop because it's just too hot in here. And if I turn on, let me try turn on the AC. Stand by. Nobody go anywhere. R for this side. Okay, so if it just got really loud in here, I apologize. I can't hear it because I have my headphones on. If it's not too loud, then we can keep going. Hey, it's Mike B, Fo20. Welcome back, Mike B. Really? You guys can't hear it? Wow, that's amazing. You sure not just humoring me? Okay. I can't hear it over my swamp cooler. Okay. So I think that there are the titans that are the primordial gods of this setting. And we know one of them, right? Raxus, the dead titan. That's crazy. It's this mic because it looks like it's a carotid mic, but it's a condenser mic, or the other way around. No, yeah, carotid. It looks like a pick everything up mic, but it's not. It's a only pick up things facing this way mic. So that is good. A Trogath? No, I did not. So I think there's only one dead titan. I think the other ones are alive. And I think that I should spell the right. Oh, that's what that thing is when somebody whispers to me. The gods of the Spinelands, the Titans. What do you guys think of the Titan idea? Do you think that that's silly? It doesn't really explain who the gods are. I like the idea that the Titans were the ones who created the different races. So each race has a patron titan, right? But that's not necessarily how gods work typically in D&D. But maybe that's how gods work in Calabras. Penguin Cinema says it's silly. I mean, I asked. I'm not Penguin Cinema. I'm not being critical. I asked, and I wouldn't have asked if I didn't want to know if some people thought it was silly. I think am I thinking of Greek mythology? Not really. I mean, obviously that's where it's from. That's where the word is from. But I'm not going to invent a new word to mean the primordial gods. Actually, maybe I should invent a word that means the primordial gods. No, I'm thinking maybe, I don't know, like, I guess the reason I say titans, what's the difference? Lacham the Learned asks a good question. What is the difference between titans and gods? I don't know. I just thought that the different species, the lizard men, the elves, the dwarves, each had a patron creator deity, and these were the titans, and that they're who they worship. And that would mean the humans have a titan that they worship. But maybe that doesn't make any sense. So let's talk about this because I don't know the answer and I haven't thought about it. Let's table for the moment the Titan issue. Forget about it. We'll come back to it if we like it. I think there are basically two different ways of doing gods in a fantasy setting. One, and I could be wrong. There could be. This is my take on it. One is that the gods represent cultural, sociological virtues, right? So if you have, like the Nordic peoples had the trickster god Loki because they had a lot of cultures had trickster gods because they have that cultural archetype for the kind of Jack and the Green character. But other cultures don't value that. They don't find that kind of trickster character fun or funny, and so they don't have that kind of god. And then so that's one way of doing it, right? Is the gods represent the cultural virtues. Another way of doing it is saying gods represent abstract qualities, right? Like you might have a god of fire, right? But fire isn't a virtue, right? But you might have a god of war, like Ares, the god of war. But then culturally, that's one way, the abstract concept of war. But then you might have the other way of doing it is you would have the god of virtue in battle or courage, right? The courage in battle. These are cultural virtues as opposed to the abstract concept of war. What do you guys think? Do you think that it should be the gods are abstract concepts, or do you think the gods should represent cultural ideas? Maybe I've asked the wrong questions. All right, let's make a poll. Everybody says poll. Straw poll. Maybe we'll put Titans in here. What do the gods of Calabrese represent? Well, let's watch Matt type. The minstrel in the gallery. Boom. Boom. Bada boom. Big bada boom. The minstrel in the gallery. Wow, it's... Abstract concepts, the god of war, the god of fire, does not seem to be polling well, and it seems as though everything else is split between racial creator deities and cultural ideals. How is war not culture? War is an abstract concept. How do you feel about it? Is it good? Is it bad? Those are cultural. Somebody's with the... People say that's a good idea, but then they don't say what the idea was. And I don't have time to scroll up. So... people are trying to direct message me to bypass the collaborative nature of the chat. Because they feel like I didn't... They like, oh, my idea didn't... Matt didn't see my idea, so I'll direct message him. Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of the... I mean, the idea that there are already a lot of worlds where the faith of the people creates the gods. That's how it works in Terry Pratchett's world. That's how it works in my D&D setting. Spoilers. So I'm trying to avoid that. Let's see what the chat says. 40% cultural ideas, courage, luck. Okay. So what do the... So let's say that the Titans created the world. Maybe we need a name for a Titan. What if humans worship cultural ideal gods? Unfortunately, Shiva, X3, PZG, there are a lot of really good ideas in this stream, but some of them are already ideas that I use in my game. And I don't want to just, you know, I don't want to just take like, oh, yeah. Stick with Titans if it's different. I think the Titans created the world and the speaking races. I want something that's in. Yeah, I think there are still. Do the Titans remain? Yeah, I think that there's only one dead Titan. I think Primordials. I think isn't that what they're called in fourth edition? So so I don't think we need every god. We don't. We're not going to figure out every god today. But we need some intermediary between the Titans. I think one of the problems we're having as we're trying to wrap our brain around this idea is we need some intermediary concept between the creator deities and the deities people worship. So I guess this is getting down to the Greek Roman divide. So I think excuse me. So I think the Titans are still around. They just don't. You don't. They're so powerful. They don't notice. They don't notice humans. Um, uh, so let's look at what we learn. What we know about. What do we know about Raxus, the dead Titan? Oops, sorry, wrong chat. Durok founded the Dwarven Kingdom when he killed. So there's a Dwarven hero who killed the Titan Raxus. So that means that the Titans can be killed by normal people. That's crazy. Who came up with that idea? I like the idea though that the ancient peoples, like the dwarf progenitor, was powerful enough to kill a Titan. Um, I don't really Luthon 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't really. I think that if you had a god of war, then somebody could look at the player's handbook and figure out which domain that was pretty easily. Uh, did the dwarf kill their own Titan? I don't think so. I don't think Raxus. Uh, I wrote that Basharix was the ancient dragon, mate to the Titan Raxus. Um, so I think Basharix is not a dragon. She's a dragon Titan. So that's one of the Titans. Raxus, the dead one. Raxus, the dead Titan. Basharix, the dragon Titan. See what I mean? Uh, what's the name of the Dwarven Titan? Oh, I think that's what people are saying is was Raxus unique if he isn't the Titan of the dwarves? Who was he? He was the Titan of the lizard men. And lizard speak all the reptile races that you get all throughout this place. Okay, Johnny Craghammer gets a Brishmilla. We have to start timeout. Didn't seem to work. Here we go. I have now officially timed out somebody because they said something silly. A lot of people have said silly stuff, but we're getting close to the end and I want to get some work done. I mean, work on the stream done. I want to get this. I want to get some. We don't have to finish everything, but I'd like to. I'd like to get some good answers. Ragnar, the Dwarven. Who are the Dwarf Titan? Kreln, Dirk, Morkand, Hordrim, Borox. Like Raxus might have been a Hydra? Uh, Raxus of 9 heads. the dead Titan, the Hydra Titan. That's cool. Borodin. I like Borodin, actually. Well, I don't know. I think Grolth should be the Orc Titan. Don't you, Haltclair? Vontor, Dorn, Kazak, Dozul. These aren't bad names. Just none of them stand out to me as like, wow, yeah, that is the name of the Dwarven Titan. I could just make something up. I could make something up that I like. I count. I matter. So we just got the name for the Orc Titan, and now I forgot it. It was Haltclear's suggestion. Growth. Orc Titan, the father of goblins, and goblins, orcs, gnomes. That's right, I said gnomes. So Titans are racial. Yeah, I think that's what we're doing. I think each of these guys created. So, is there Grumsh in this world? Maybe Grumsh, the god that the orcs worship, is a result of their faith. Right? Maybe you could just take whatever gods you like and say, you like the gods of the Forgotten Realms, you like the Greek pantheon. I remember when I first started playing D&D, in fact, you see this in deities and demigods, was when people first started playing D&D, the idea that the gods of a world were unique to that world was new. People worshipped Athena in Greyhawk, right? Because why not? Gods could, and I think there was this notion that gods were like extra dimensional. Oh, I have some water here that I have not added any liquid. I have not added any flavor to. I've been sitting here being thirsty the entire time, and I have a whole thing of water here that I can add some Go Juice to. I guess this is Go Powder. Strawberry flavored caffeine powder. Stand by. More great television. Look, you could be watching somebody playing Minecraft. Instead, you're sitting here watching Matt Colville drop the cap to his Fiji water. So I think that maybe we would leave the gods. I feel like maybe we should come up with some gods for the humans. Working Joe. Are the Titans huge? I don't know that they're actually. I don't think the Titans. They are each represented in many forms and guises. They existed before. Before. They existed before substance, before matter, before life required flesh. I don't know what that means, but it sounds cool, right? So I don't picture the Titans as people walking around. I picture them as these abstract concepts, as these beings of great energy. What happens to a race that loses this Titan? I don't know. I think they go crazy. I think that's why the Yuan-Ti. That's why we have this notion in Dungeons and Dragons of lizard men, of snake men, these guys being more primitive, and I think that's because these guys have lost their Titan. So, I got a bunch of names. The picture on the back wall has changed several times. It hasn't changed in a couple of videos, I don't think. What happens with the Great Old One? What Great Old One? I didn't know there was a Great Old One. So what is the name of the Titan of Men? We have the Titan of Dragons. We have the Titan of Lizards, the Hydra. We have the Titan of Orcs. I didn't come up with a Dwarf Titan. I'm sorry. I completely got my wires crossed here. 2 Orc Gods, Gork and Mork. Bloody Starburst earns a timeout. Yay, I'm using timeout more. Because that was ridiculous, and therefore not helpful. I like Hamar for the human Titan. I'm not opposed to that. I still don't have a good name for Fargoth. Growth. Growth is the Orc Titan. Graxus, Kran. Let me scroll down. Are Titans genderless? I think they are because they don't require sex or biology. But I think that the people ascribe gender to them. And I can imagine that some people ascribe, depending on your tradition, you would ascribe the different genders to the same Titan. Working John. No, Working Joe. Working Joe. And I'm doing what I know. Well, look, Iguanatron. Who created men? What is the name of the dwarven Korvan? Like actually, Kor, I think. Duroc can be the dwarven titan. That's actually not a bad idea. Let me see. But we have him as he's buried. Durocnaz was the name of this ancient king. Wait, hang on a minute. What is Durocnaz? What is that doing here? We have Kalazanbar, the kingdom Duroc founded. So Duroc is the. I think maybe there's some. I made a mistake. I think somebody pointed it out to me. I didn't know what they meant. Happens all the time. So the kingdom, the ancient dwarven kingdom, founded by Duroc. Duroc was a dwarven hero. He's not a titan. So why is that called Duroc's grave? It's just the broken spine. And then the kingdom is called Kalazanbar. So no, Duroc was the dwarf hero that founded that nation. I mean, obviously, in your setting, you can make Duroc the dwarf titan if you want. Do humans need a titan? I think all the speaking races need a titan. Otherwise, how do they come to be? So I think I'm just going to give this guy a name. Dwarven Titan, Father of Stone. So now we need a human titan. We need a human titan and we need an elf titan. Is Prim too stupid? No, it's just stupid enough. There was actually a TV guide. Was it a TV guide? There was some. I don't want to get off on a tangent. There were actually a couple of cool names. Namura, the human titan. That's not a bad name. That sounds familiar though. Look it up. Yeah, it's the name of a piston company. It's the name of a dessert. Namura? What do you think of Namura as the human titan? No, I just want to know what you guys think. We don't need to do a poll. Oh. I don't know what you mean by the great old one. Which great old one? If dragons are sexless, I think how is Basharx the mate of Raxus? I think that they are not immune to love. They're just immune to biology and gender. Did the races name the Titans, or did they get told their names by them? I think the Titans named the Titans. Why is the G race a bad word? I think you know why, Mike. Come on. Oh, you're talking about the Warlock patron? The great. I thought the Great Old Ones was a. Well, I mean, the Warlocks serve people from beyond time, so they don't really have any. They, you know. I see. Yeah, I wouldn't like. I think Nordum, the Titan, the human Titan. I see. Yeah, I think if you're talking about who warlocks worship, they worship people that are not part of this setting, that are from other universes. I think that's the whole idea. Until somebody screams at me. Uh, I like Aeron, actually. Although, isn't that a heavy metal band? Arjun A. Lukinson's band. So the guys that made the chairs, yeah. I love their chairs. Um, who is the Titan of the Elves? I think people have already given me answers to that I really like, actually. Yeah, I'm down with... So now we know who created the different races. Oh, we don't have we don't have a Dragonborn. I guess did Basharks create? Titans. Did the who created the Dragonborn? Are they like the result of some kind of cooperation between Basharks and Namura? The Dwarf Titan. I should have called the Dwarf Titan Baz. That would have been great. I don't know. I think the Dragonborn should be their own thing. You're right. We don't have a Goliath. Do all races have to come from Titans? I think all the speaking races do. Right? I think if you can formulate words, then I think actually maybe you do get cooperation between maybe the halflings, halflings, Dragonborn, Goliaths are the result of the two Titans working together. Yeah, I get basically agree. Father of men, and I don't know how that works exactly, but it's an interesting idea. Father of men and halflings. Father of stone, Dwarven Titan, Father of stone, and Goliaths. Dragon Titan. Mother of Dragonborn. There, now we got it covered. So now I guess what I'm thinking, which is good because we're coming up on 2 hours, which is usually my limit, is that ooh, hang on a minute. Hexadecimal for green says the god of the Goliaths, Ushaka. So maybe it's Ushaka is that the name of a Titan? Why not? Why not? Who do clerics worship? I don't think they worship Titans. I mean, I don't know. Maybe this is a failed experiment on my part. I think that if you go by the player's handbook and it's got examples, I think that like the humans in this setting, they don't worship Namura. I think they might not even know Namura exists. They worship whatever gods are the gods that are in the player's handbook or that you like. And I'm not sure that we need, we have to draw the line somewhere. Like, we're not going to create 100 adventures for this place. We're not going to map out every city, because you can go buy adventures that are awesome and drop them in here. You can go buy, there's Orlane, there's Villain, there's Drellin's Ferry, there's a whole bunch of towns that are all been mapped out in existing products. So you don't need us to do it here. So I think maybe gods is like that. Maybe we have the Titans, the creator deities, and then there are the Titans are these creator deities that people maybe they don't grant powers. They're just where the races come from, right? And then so maybe there is still Gruumsh. Maybe the orcs don't worship Growth. So that's why I have like the gods of the Spitelands, the Titans. The Titans. To begin. They are not worshipped. And do not. So they are not worshipped. They are not gods. And they're often unknown by mortals. So why do we need them? I don't know. I just want to know who made these people. So that's why we don't have Ushaka. Ushaka is a god, the god of the father of stone and Goliaths. So we know who made them, but then the gods. I'm tempted to say that you worship the gods from. I'm tempted to say that I think that the knowledge of the Titans is just because I think that because you can't worship them, really. I mean, I guess if you knew about them, you could try, but I don't think they grant powers. They're the creator deities. They made the world. They made these races, and then they went off, and they're still around. But then you have the gods, and so Corellon the Raytheon is, how Corellon the Raytheon is a god of the elves. Gruumsh is a god of I think those gods from D&D are the gods of this place. That makes sense to me. So I think this might be the end, folks. I think we named a bunch of stuff. I was going to spend some time today dropping adventures in, but I don't think that's a collaborative thing. I think that's me just picking places and saying, this is where this goes and this is where that goes. And they're really just suggestions. Obviously, if I say this is a good place for instance, I already did some work on this. Let me make sure I've saved all my options here. I already did some thinking about where would Orlane go? I think Orlane is probably Havenmore. This will. I think Havenmore is this place because it's near a swamp, and Orlane needs to be near a swamp, right? So I already did a little bit of work on that, but that's not a collaborative thing. That's more just Matt, the author, deciding. And so I think the actual PDF will include that stuff. And the only exception I can think of to the gods thing is human gods. I think people like having human gods to worship. So maybe I'll do some work. I don't know if it's worth a whole stream. I don't know. I think we might be done. I think this might be. The spine. This is not. I call it the world of Calabris, but this is really just one part of it. I think this is 1/6 of the whole place, but it's pretty amazing. We have the Dead Kingdom. We know where the Goliaths live. These are all undead. These used to be the Southern Sanction until the Lich committed the ritual of desecration and wiped it all out. We have the Dragonborn. Their place is amazing. We know who created this place. We know the Titans created the different races, and we know what the names of the Titans are. I assume that most people are just going to use the gods from D&D. Like I said, Corellon the Raytheon, but the exception might be human gods. It seems as though traditionally D&D is let's invent our own human gods, and then all orcs worship Gruumsh. So I think that's about it. How would you represent this map to your players? I think that I would not initially. I would start them off in a town like Palom or Tranche or Waldron and say, here's the local area. And keep in mind that even though we've placed towns, I think this is true of most maps, even though we put a lot of towns and villages in here, it's not all of them. I think most of the hexes in this area have towns or villages in them. They're just not big enough to show up on the map. So how is the adventure lookup site going? I really don't know. I don't. I should check in and see how those guys are doing. But that project has to work without me. That was why I said I can't make this happen. I can just say this is the need. This is what I wish I can host it if there was something that's done. So I haven't. I should check in and see how the guys are. I think Solar Swordsman was here, and he was a project manager for a long time. I don't know if he's still working on it. He's usually the guy I communicate. Jeff is usually the guy I communicate with. Somebody said there was a prototype up and working, but I never got a chance to see it. I think I had to download some software to make it work. So yeah, we will definitely, if you want an example of putting a module into the map. So, so give me an example. Somebody give me an example of a famous adventure. Give me an example of a famous adventure that's not the Tomb of Horrors, because that's stupid. And I'll tell you how I would drop it in here. Seal the flap. This is a good time to stop because I'm starving. Night Below. Reptile God. Okay, we got a couple here. So how would I do Night Below? Well, the good news is that Night Below happens mostly under the world. So you start, God, I don't remember what the name of the starting town is because I rename everything. And I rename let me see. Hang on a minute. I'm sure there's a Heronshire, right? The evils of Heronshire. So one of the Thurston and Heronshire. I would either just say I would take so Night Below begins with the players on their way to Heronshire. They stop in the town of Thurston or Thursville or something, and wizards are being kidnapped. And there are caves, and there's a keep. There's Broken Spire Keep, and I would say I would put Broken Spire. I would pick one of these towns. It wouldn't matter which, really. Maybe Orton because it's near the hills. It doesn't need to be near the hills because Night Below happens underground. And I would say Waldron. I would say instead of Heronshire, it's Walden. Or I would put Heronshire in here and put it in one of these hexes that doesn't have a city in it because just because it doesn't have a point of interest doesn't mean there isn't one there. I think there are lots of places that are interesting that aren't on the map. They're just below the scale of, these are the biggest places. And then when they get to Broken Spire Keep, that's one of the ways down. Against the Cult of the Reptile God starts in the town of Orlane, which is near a swamp. Well, Havenmore is near a swamp. So instead of calling it Orlane, I would just call it Havenmore. And I would go by Against the Cult of the Reptile God and use the map of Orlane and say, this is the map of Havenmore. Print it out and put it in front of my players. Isle of Dread probably would have to be one of these islands, obviously. Temple of Elemental Evil starts in the village of Hamlet. And I think I would probably make Hamlet someplace like Oak Shadow and just say, okay, the village of Hamlet is no longer called Hamlet, it's called Oak Shadow. And the actual temple is up in the mountains up here. These are forested mountains and forested hills. And I put the temple up there somewhere. The moat house takes place in a swamp. So I would say that there is probably a moor in one of these hexes that's too small for, keep in mind that you could have a big swamp or a big moor that's less than 24 miles across. So Lost Mine of Phandelver. Phandelver starts in the town, or you're on the way to the town of Phandelm. That seems a lot like Palom to me. And then you end up at Crag's something castle. I would say that castle is on the map. It's just, it's not depicted here. So I would pick one of these. You can see what I'm saying. Like, pick a town, look at the adventure, and say, well, forget the name of the town. We can change the name of the town in the adventure. What is the adventure near that's nearby? And probably what the adventure needs that's nearby is not necessarily on the map. So drop it in the map. It's the simplest thing in the world. I do it all the time. You just add a little keep. You download the hexographer file and you add a keep to the map and say, that's the Craghammer Castle. So I think you guys get it. I don't think we're going to do a stream for adding adventures just because I think I don't think that's a collaborative thing. It's just, I would be doing it. And it would be easier just to have a section, which I'll do. I'll add a section to the Collaborous PDF and say, here's how to add a bunch of classic adventures. But ideally, just sitting here listening to me, you'll know that it's just every adventure starts with a town, typically. And then nearby, there's a keep or there's a cave. Pick a town that's, yeah, I will upload everything tonight. Is this the last stream forever? Probably. I need my Sundays back. This has been a lot of fun, but I didn't intend it to be this many episodes in the first place. And I certainly didn't mean it to be something that I would always do forever. We may, if we can find something interesting to do on a regular basis, we may do it. But I'm already streaming D&D, and I'd like to get back. Like, I wanted to do a video Monday, a real running the game video Monday, but this production eats a lot of that time. So I passed on that, and it made me sad. So we'll upload this, and I will. My plan is to take the, edit and clean up the PDF and put it up, and say, here you go. Anybody who wants to use it, here's the hexographer file. And then over the course of the next several weeks, actually add a bunch of stuff to this and flesh things out and add more detail and maybe get some illustrations and put it up on RPG Now and say, this is you can always use the free version. And then here's the matte edited and added to actual official setting thing. So I think that I was a blast making a world with you guys. I think that we did something really special and amazing. Like, this place is cool. Right? It's unique. There is no place that is exactly like this. And almost, if not all of these names, and a lot of the ideas came from you guys. All I was doing was selecting the ones I liked. And then every once in a while, I would just make an executive decision and say, I like this. So I think we've done something pretty cool. And we'll see what happens if people start using it when it goes up. But hopefully you now understand that the way I think of stuff, if you look back at the early streams, I took the terrain, and every time, and I said, well, what must be true? If we see that there's a split mountain range, it's probably a divided kingdom. That makes sense. The pass becomes important. Who guards, who owns the pass? Why is the pass important? Because I don't know why, but there must be a reason. And so each of these things follow from the next. And I think I said, don't forget that I have a subreddit, /r/Matt Colville. If you ever have any questions, you want to come by and talk about Calabris, we can do it there. And I think that's it for the Calabris stream. I think we're done. I don't know. Maybe I'll discover that we need to do more work and we'll do another one. But I think for the time being, we have created a sufficiently... I think there's a lot more detail in here than you really need. We could have finished this... We could have done this, I think, in 2 or 3 episodes and just done a lot less detail. No campaign setting is ever done. Right? Even the Forgotten Realms, there's always more detail, always more parts of the world to explore. So I had a lot of fun doing this with you guys, and I'm sure we'll come up with something to do in the future together. I don't know what it is, but I have enjoyed doing this. So I think that's it. I'm going to get something to eat, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend. We're going to play D&D Tuesday night, and we'll see if we can get the audio problems with the stream fixed, and we'll see what people think about what the best way to deliver the D&D content is. Is it via, in fact, let's do the vote thing. Hang on a minute. Which is the best way to deliver the D&D content? Is it in a 4-hour chunk of you actually watching us play D&D, either live or on YouTube, or do you prefer the 20 minutes to half hours of me just describing what happened? I don't know the answer. I want to know what you think. All right, folks, that's it. I don't know when we're going to do this next, but hopefully I'll see you guys Tuesday night when we find out what happens as the 2 groups meet for the first time. The Revenant Vow and the Shield of Gravesford meet and begin their plan. Lars already has a really interesting idea, which may even happen before the stream starts. We'll see. Maybe we'll have a stream before stream. I don't know. I have no idea. But stay tuned for Tuesday night as they assault the Dwagar fortress of Avarak-Sul. All right, folks. Peace out.